hello, 안녕하세요. This is 제희망이 back again with episode 2 of Korean language cultural explanations. So last week we did the first episode, which was polite speech versus informal speech, and we learned some very basic reasons why you should always stick to polite speech and when you can start with informal speech. Today's topic is a follow-up on that. It's related to that, and so it's kind of a part 2 of the polite versus informal. But today the main topic is usage of terms of address. What does this mean? So terms of address refers to how you address someone. So basically using the Korean terms that we've all heard before. Number 1 being 오빠, 누나, 형, and 언니. And there's a big point that I want to talk about today, which is 친구, and also another term which has been commonly misused or abused, and that is the term 동생. Okay, you should already be able to see all the words that I'm talking about today to the right of your screen, and I hope that you, after this episode, you'll be able to use these terms correctly or not at all, depending on what stage you're at with your polite speech and your informal speech. Last week, some of you left very, very good questions in the comments, and those are related to the topic that we're talking about today. And so we're going to start off with the first question, which is definitely related to the first term that I want to talk about, and that is the term tingle. Okay, tingle. And as some of you already know, some of you don't know, tingle does not mean friend. Does not mean friend. Translated, yes, it means my friend, but culturally, it has a completely different explanation. Culturally, it refers to someone who is the same age as you. 친구 means same age friend. A lot of the times the phrase, the very important phrase, same age, is left out, and people just think friend. This is my friend. This is my 친구, and it doesn't matter what age they are your 친구. No, you are using it the wrong way. And I'm going to give a very, very, really good personal experience example that really illustrates how this whole 친구 thing works in Korea. Okay. A couple of years ago, when I was in Gangnam with my friend Grace. So Grace is from Singapore. She speaks very minimal Korean, so she knows some basic things, and she misunderstood, or rather, she didn't know the usage of the word 친구. So one time we were she wanted to look for shoes, so we went to a shoe store, and the gentleman at the shoe store was like, so who are you here with? Because she's a tourist, right? And who are you here with? And he asked in Korean. She can understand that much. And she said, 친구. That was her one-word answer. And then the guy looked at me, and he was like, 친구? Like, are you sure? Because I'm older than Grace by a lot. And she looks like this tiny baby. She looks like she's 12 or 13. And so he looked at her, and he looked at me, and he was like, 친구? 친구 맞아요? And that was when he asked me, because he knows that I can speak Korean. And he was like, 친구 맞아요? Are you really her friend? And Grace was saying yes, and I was saying no. I said, 친구 아니에요. 동생이에요. So it means that, no, she's not my friend, because 친구 means same age. And I said, no, she's not the same age as me. She's younger than me. 동생 doesn't, 동생 refers to someone younger than you, not necessarily related to you. If they're actually related to you, it's called 친동생. 친동생. Okay? So, yes. And so then the guy was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Okay, so she's not your tingle, she's your 동생. So she's younger than you. And so, see, this is the way it works in Korea. Tingle is not used as friend. There are a lot of people who don't know this. And so that's one of the points that I really remembered and I carried to this day that makes me want to tell people the correct usage of the word 친구. I see it often being used the wrong way also online. And I especially fucking hate when I see people like 안녕 친구, and it's so, oh my god, it's cringy as fuck. Just stop it. Don't do it. Don't go around saying 안녕 친구, 안녕 친구. No. Don't do it. Please. It's embarrassing and it's cringy. In the first place, don't try to... I'm so bad that I spit out. First of all, try not to romanize your words. If you're learning a language, you should be learning also how to write it properly, because you cannot expect to speak to a Korean person with romanized words. How do you expect to do that? And also, if you go to Korea, how are you planning to read the stuff, the signs, the menu, the whatever it is? How are you gonna do that if you don't know how to read the Korean? So you have to learn the alphabet together with the language. You have to. That's the correct way to learn. Yes, there is a correct way to learn when it comes to this. It just doesn't make sense if you can only speak, but you don't know how to, I guess, actually say things, because we live in an online world. You need to know how to type it out, how to write it out, so that you can actually talk. When BTS tweets, don't you want to understand what they're saying? Don't you want to not have to rely on translators and things like that? So please learn how to read and write at the same time, okay? But I digress. We have now covered the topic of tingle and how to use the word 동생. Another thing that I want to talk about for the word 동생 is that I've seen people online really butcher this word, and this is something I've talked to my Korean friends about. I've seen people online, okay, first of all, they romanized the word, which is cringy. And then they started shortening the word, and they started calling people 생이 from 동생 or 동생이. And they started saying 생이. And at first when I saw that, I asked the person, I'm like, what is that? And they were like, oh, it's just a short form for 동생. And I'm like, oh my god. Calm down. First of all, nobody in Korea ever refers to someone younger than them or addresses them as 동생. I'm so mad that my camera almost fell. 동생, come here. Nobody ever says that. If a person is younger than you, you just address them by name. Unless you are introducing them to someone else. And then it is, this is my 동생. Then fine. That's great. That's a great usage of the word. But if you don't address someone as 동생, it doesn't make any sense. And to shorten it, to use the word like it's your fucking language, which it is not, and to be all like 생이 in addressing someone, it baffles my mind. I don't fucking understand this. Why would you do that? First of all, respect the language. It is not yours. You are learning it. You're borrowing it from someone else's culture, and so you do not get to use the words as your own. Like, you do not get to use it however you like, because it's not yours to abuse like that. Okay? So okay, another in relation to this, abuse of the language, no respect to the language. I've got another example for you that I was just like, I don't fucking understand. So I'm gonna tell you right now what I encountered online. Everybody knows I used to run like quite a big translation account back in the day, very back in the day. And I've encountered not one, not two, but three people. And these are just the ones I've encountered. Who knows how many there are out there. People who address boys, people who are girls, who address boys as young. And when I first encountered that, I was like, oh cool, you're a boy army. That's not very common back in the day. And they were like, no, I'm a girl. And I'm like, you're a girl? Then why are you referring to like the BTS members as hyung? And it's just like, oh, I just like how it sounds. And it sounds better to me than oppa, so I'm just gonna call them that. And I'm like, okay, that's wrong, right? Like, boys call elder men hyung, and girls call them oppa. And she was like, yeah, I know, but I just don't want to. And I'm like, who the fuck are you to just abandon hundreds, maybe thousands of years of culture and the language that was developed specifically, and to just decide that you want to use it a different way? And I was thinking it was kind of fucked up to me. It's fucked up in its arrogance for you to just swoop in and just like take popular culture basically and just twist it around to just do whatever you want with it. I didn't like that at all. And it's not the first person I've encountered that thought this way, and it shocks me. Like, one time was bad enough, and then like later, maybe a year later, I encountered it again, and then a few months ago I encountered the same thing again and again and again. And I'm like, how many people out there think this way? Who are you to come in and just disrespect a whole like language and culture? Okay, I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm gonna stop ranting. It's supposed to be educational, and I'm gonna stick to that. Okay, let's explain the terms properly now. Okay, if you are a girl, if you are a female, and you are addressing other elder females, they call them 언니. 언니 is all sound. 언니. Okay, and if you are a female and you're addressing an elder male, it is oppa. Oppa. It's a double B sound. Oppa. Okay? And if you are a boy, if you're a male and you're addressing an elder female, it is 누나. 누나. And if you're a boy, a male, and you're addressing an elder male, it's 형. In relation to the terms, when someone is older than you, I said you always have to start with polite speech, but as you get closer, you can start like slowly graduating to informal speech, or you can just simply ask, can I start speaking informally? That's how you initiate. Last week, someone asked a question like, so if someone is the same age as you, can you immediately start speaking informally? The answer is no, because just because you find out someone is the same age as you, like, even though you see on TV all the time, people immediately start like speaking informally to each other and just like dropping all the polite speech, all the yos, and then they start with the yas, and like I'm like, okay, in real life that it doesn't happen that quickly. It can. I'm not saying it can't. It can, but it does take a little bit of time, maybe a little bit more of conversation before they're like, you know what, we're the same age. Let's speak comfortably to each other. I've encountered this myself. It was initiated by the guy and not me, and it was nice because I was waiting to see. Sometimes both parties wait to see who would be comfortable. If you would be comfortable speaking informally to each other. Some people don't like that. Some people really prefer to reach a level where you're close enough to speak to each other like that. Otherwise, they consider it rude. Some people like they maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of talking, or maybe just the very next day. And they're like, you know what? We're the same age. Same age is called 동갑. So if you saw a couple day before yesterday, I subbed a video from IU talking about working with Yoongi on her new 8 song. If you haven't seen that video, please watch it. All subbed videos on this channel are subbed by me. Okay, so they're not taken from somewhere else. They were subbed by me, and she talked about being the same age as Yoongi. She was like, something like 수가 씨랑 저랑 동갑이잖아요. Something like that. She said 수가 씨 and I are 동갑, which is same age. And she addressed him as 수가 씨. There could be 2 reasons for this. One is because she's on TV, so she has to stick to polite speech or formal speech, because this is the way of TV. You have to stick to polite or formal. And so she addressed him as she, which is like Mr. or Miss or Ma'am or something like that. And who knows if behind the scenes they talk to each other informally or not. We don't have a video, so we don't know. And we can't assume also, because you don't know if they were ever comfortable enough. But she did say they were very, very comfortable working with each other. So I think that's a lot due to them being the same age, and Yoongi probably initiated, like, let's just speak comfortably, because you can see that happening. He's that kind of person, and I think that's totally what happened, but that's just speculation. We can only see what evidence we have, which is she addressed him politely, but she did say they were same age, and I really hope there's a behind the scenes video. How to initiate calling someone 오빠 or 언니 or 누나 or 형. Again, when you first meet, usually a common question is, how old are you? There's many ways to ask this. A less polite way would be 몇 살이세요? 몇 살이에요? And that's like, how old are you? And a more polite way to ask would be 나이가 어떻게 되세요? 나이가 어떻게 되세요? And that's a more polite way of asking, how old are you? And once you've established the age, that's when you can decide at that point to ask whether you want to address someone as their proper term of address if someone is older than you. It can go either way. The elder person can say, you can call me blah blah blah, or the younger person can say, can I address you as blah blah blah? Okay, so let's use the example of when I first met my friend Minju. So I talk about Minju a lot, and she likes hearing her name in the video. So when I first met Minju, so Minju is younger than me by quite a bit, and when I met her and I found out her age, and so I said, 언니라고 불러도 돼. So to to just establish closeness. Because what is she gonna call me? She's just gonna call me like, she probably will leave my name or won't address me as anything, or she'll call me like my hairdresser does, which is arashi. She all the time, arashi. Even though I've known my hairdresser since 2013, she dyes my hair all kinds of BTS hair colors whenever I'm about to go to a concert. But we maintain a line of professional distance. I am her customer, and she is my hairdresser, and so she always calls me arashi, and I call her tamishi. And we don't get familiar with each other, even though I see her several times a year, and we've known each other since 2013. But the level of professionalism is always there. So there are certain relationships that don't make any progress per se in terms of like eventually graduating to an impolite speech stage. Some relationships remain at a polite speech stage basically forever, because it really does show the kind of relationship you have. And in this case, it is a customer and service provider relationship. However, with friends, so I'm a person who likes to initiate. Usually I initiate a lot of things. So if I'm talking to an elder man, I will ask him, 오빠라고 불러도 돼요? May I call you oppa instead of addressing someone as she, which has been done. Like, sometimes I sort of like take a step back. I see how they try to address me first. If they start with the she's, then I follow suit. Sometimes it's good to let other people take the first step, just so you can follow. If you're not sure what to do, then you can always follow. Let's recap. I can ask someone, 오빠라고 불러도 돼요? Or 언니라고 불러도 돼요? And the same can be asked to me if I am the elder person in the conversation. Or I can initiate for the younger person to address me as a closer term. I can just tell her, 언니라고 불러도 돼. You can call me 언니. And yeah, I remember that incident. Minju was like, oh my goodness. It was our first meeting ever. We only had like 10 minutes before we were like, everybody was being thrown into an escape room. And she was like, oh my god, 언니. She said I sounded like a regular Korean 언니, which is great, because it's a compliment for me. It shows I'm on the right track. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing things the right way. So that's what you want, right? I'm hoping that's what you want. I can't assume that's what you want, but I'm hoping that's what you want. For someone to tell you, hey, you know what? You're doing great. That's just like what a Korean would do. And it's not because you're trying to be Korean. The difference between like wanting to be Korean is wanting to abandon your identity, your ethnicity, your own culture, and that's wrong. But there's a fine line between learning someone else's culture, being able to really adopt the culture when you need to. That's totally different. And there's definitely, it's something you can do. Don't be afraid to do. Don't be afraid of the label. You know, people who are out there to label you, like, you know, you're a Koreaboo. They probably don't know anything. They're just quick to label you. But, you know, if you're working hard and learning things the right way, then definitely you're on the right track. And I'm proud of you. And that's what counts here. Right? Teacher J, maybe you should, like, how should you address me? A teacher is 선생님 or 쌤. So you've probably heard the BTS boys go, 성득쌤. 성득쌤, 손성득 is their dance teacher, their choreography teacher. So they always call him as 손쌤 or 성득쌤. 쌤, SS, S-A-E-M, but I don't want you to romanize it. Try not to romanize. So you can call me Ara-쌤, Ara-선생님, or just 선생님. That sounds nice. I would love to be called that. Just call me that. Do it in the comments. Why is my name, in this case, when I talk about Korean people calling me Ara, why is my name that? First of all, it's a part of my middle name. And it's shortened by my Korean friends for an easier way to address me, because my name is hard. It's a foreign name to them, and some of them said it's really hard to say your name. Can I shorten it, or can I call you by a Korean name? And I'm like, okay. So I told them my name, and they were like, okay, your name, it's either Nara or Ara sounds nice. And they were like, choose one. So I'm like, okay, let's go with Ara. Ara sounds really nice. And yeah, it's easier for Koreans to pronounce it. So if you're talking to a Korean person, then and if they express difficulty in pronouncing your name, you can try to adopt a Korean name. I have a lot of memberships in Korea that are under this name, because I have a Chinese surname, and the Chinese character in Hanja, which is the Chinese Korean characters, it translates to yang. So I legit have a Korean surname if I were to convert that character. So yeah, it helps if you're Chinese. It helps if you're Chinese. My yeah, if you're Chinese, you can probably figure out my surname also. It translates to yang in Korean. I'm not going to tell you what it is in Chinese. So I have a lot of memberships under the name Yang Ara in Korea. And okay, you guys, so you can decide what you want to do. Ask away more questions in the comments. The last time that was really good. When you ask questions, it really helps to facilitate the next episode. Next episode, for episode 3, we will be talking about how to say goodbye. There's so many ways to say goodbye. I bet you didn't know that. There's at least 4, 5. Did you know that? There's so many ways to say goodbye. So many ways just in the polite way. And of course, I'll tell you the informal ways as well, just so you can, like I said, you need to know the differences, just so you're more educated, not necessarily to use it, but so that you can gradually get to the informal stage. And meanwhile, please address me as Ara 선생님, 선생님, or Ara-쌤 in the comments. I just want to get a thrill out of it. Okay, just do it. Do it in the comments, and you can still continue to ask questions, and I'll try to answer them in the next or maybe future episodes. So this has been Teacher J, or Ara-쌤, signing off. I will see you in the next episode. Bye!